Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at 5 indies you may have missed that could potentially make their way to your library, or at least that wish list. So hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily, and let's get started. Jitsu Squad at release, or embargo for reviews at least, it was broken. I had tried to overcome it, but I found a hard crash which I could not bypass. It was just impossible, so I ended up walking away. Now, they had promised me a day 1 patch which they delivered on, but I couldn't find the time in the calendar to get a video together. Finally though, I've gone back now, and as brawlers go, it has its moments of fun, but I still found it, if anything, a little underwhelming. The highlight, the combat, it's fast paced, and rather than a standard simplistic control scheme, it leans into combo driven gameplay. This depth here, it definitely goes a long way to making it feel unique, and the positives are topped off with multiple playable characters, including quick rotation, these great cartoon visuals, and a decent enough soundtrack. What lets it down for me, however, it's honestly an incredibly competitive genre on the Switch, and I do think it's kind of a case here of I've just seen it done way better. There's hints then of frame rate drops on occasion as well, especially towards the latter half of the game, and I also felt a general variety, it just wasn't there. I was getting burnout, and I generally love these games. I see a lot of potential with this one, and I do think it's worth playing still if you've hit up a lot of the classics, that we already have available on the system. The big issue though for me here, it's got to be the price. $30 or your regional equivalent, that is just way too much in my opinion. It's more expensive than the modern classics such as Streets of Rage 4 and Shredder's Revenge. It's a slightly above average 6 out of 10 from me. It has some fun moments, but I think many will see it's just not quite up to its influences. NeverAwake is a twin-stick shooter with a unique premise. You play as a young girl attempting to wake up. The enemies, things many of us no doubt can, relate to: school friends, dog parks, vegetables. It's all her fears and anxiety. Now, our protagonist, Rem, for sure a unique character, but she has little to say outside of minor context here and there, but the visuals absolutely deliver on what could be considered nightmarish without ever bordering on scary. It packs 80 levels as well, and it took me personally around 3.5 hours to overcome. It's not necessarily difficult, but it plays with a unique concept, and that is the usual high score chasing, but here in the form of how quickly can you actually beat a world. You see here, the gameplay is not to destroy everything and reach an end of the level, but rather collect soul pieces of a sort, and these are tracked at the top of the screen. If you get that meter to 100%, you're going to be off to the next location. If you are struggling, then you can dial back difficulty. You can also spend what you collect on overpowering Rem, giving her momentary attack strength and defensive measures. The highlight for me though, boss encounters. They are over the top, screen filling, just epic, and they often bring some really unique mechanics to the table. Alongside that as well, actually, the movement on screen, it controls much like a shmup more than I guess anything else, but the screen, it is constantly mixing up the direction you will be going from horizontal to vertical. It's not the longest of games, but I do think then there's enough reason here to keep revisiting, and this is helped by an upgrade system which allows you to change offensive and defensive measures as you do proceed through the experience. For me, this one, it's a good 7 out of 10. But Gaiden then is going to be for the retro action platformer fans, and specifically the likes of Mega Man and Ninja Gaiden. The reason I say that, if it's not clear from the footage, movement holds a lot of similarities to the latter, while defeating bosses allows you to inherit new weapons, and you can face them in any order you do want. It also packs an incredible learning curve, and yeah, this game basically it is not easy. I don't think the difficulty here, I will say as a negative, is perfect though, honestly. It gets borderline unfair at points, but pushing through, overcoming these scenarios, it still packs a reward. It packs in as well a local co-op, always a welcome addition, though not something I unfortunately got to try. This is a pretty easy one to recommend for fans of the genre. It's not doing anything, particularly new, but it is a decent love letter to its influences from the chunky pixel work to the high energy soundtrack. The bosses then are incredibly challenging and they destroyed me more than a fair few times. It's definitely, again, not going to be for the easily frustrated. I had to walk away on a number of occasions, and everyone I spoke to who played this shared that kind of same sentiment. One thing I do want to highlight, then again, I didn't get to play co-op, but it has a teleport option, so you instantly catch up with your teammate, or as the eShop puts it, it's going to be a great option for beginners, or maybe those not quite ready yet for what is ahead. I'd start here on easy mode. It's packing easy, normal and hard, learn the ropes first though. But yeah, this one a good 7 out of 10 from me. Unsouled then is a game I've mentioned relatively frequently in deals videos as of late, so I wanted to give it a little extra attention because really enjoyed my time with it, and I found myself now going back. The concept is nothing new, a top-down pixel-styled Souls-like, so think here stamina elements and a big focus on parrying. You'll need to master that if you want to succeed. What I enjoyed the most though was the fact attacks are not just for enemies but often used for traversing the world. So for example, a heavy strike in the opening of the game unlocks a secret room, but your timing needs to be perfect. This is all accompanied then with an in-depth skill tree that provided a satisfying reward for taking down enemies and collecting up souls. It also packs in 3 difficulty modes for those that may be concerned. Where Unsouled gets real interesting though, the game, roughly, you can overcome it in maybe 3 hours, extremely short. Probably quicker, honestly, if you really did rush through it. This game though, it's not intended to be played once, but rather learn what you can, run one, and then jump in again and start to explore. This leads to better endings, and that had me absolutely hooked. The story, it's kind of by the books as well, but it still packed intrigue, which was essential given this design element. The story, the idea, it's basically us out to avenge our fallen kingdom. Yeah, I think this one is great. I picked it up on a sale. I'd recommend it as well here with a great 8 out of 10. Kaiju Wars then, and this one's not a review. I've not actually beat it, but rather I'm playing this game right now, so consider it early impressions, but I'm having an absolute blast with this game. This is kind of my 15-minute a night game. I'm not sure if anyone else has games like that, but I like to have something just for short bursts come the evening, and this one I've really been enjoying it here now for the last week or so. I'm just a fan of smaller scale battlefields. I think it translates perfectly to the Switch in handheld, and the Kaiju attack setting is no question unique. Here we are tasked with defending this city, whether that's leveraging units or strategically, setting traps like empty buildings. These units are upgradable then, and it's promising a 15-hour story, which was a whole lot more than I anticipated going in. Topping it off then, the visuals, I love them. It's got an old school look to the action that's easy to understand, and there's going to be 5 Kaiju to face off against. You cannot kill them, you can only push them back. So far, I'm really having a blast with this one, and honestly, no complaints at this point. Hopefully it stays that way. And that's the video down 5 indies you might want to add to that wish list for a future eShop sale, or even you like the look of it enough, maybe you'll go ahead and pick it up now, jump right in. Sorry then for the lack of direct footage. I'll be doing more of these indie roundups in the future, but this one was games I've basically played in handheld, or I actually recently lost a lot of footage. Unfortunately, I recently had a system error that called for a full reinstall, and yeah, fun times, lost a whole lot of data and recording. That said though, let me know if you've played any of these in the comments, or if they are heading to that wish list. With that then, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.